Hi everyone, welcome back to my lab and today's video in which I'm going to be sharing with you how I do my cream complexion routine using Sonia G's brand new Fusion brush set. I purchased these on Beautylish on launch and I've had a chance to play with them, wash them, get a feel for how they perform, and I wanted to share my thoughts with you today. Before we get into the video, if you're new here, I'm Jody. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Hope you're going to enjoy this one, and if you do, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and consider joining our growing makeup family. Thank you to my returning subscribers. I really appreciate all the love and support, and a special thank you to the first 5 commenters on my previous video. Those that have YouTube channels will have the YouTube logo and be linked down below in case you're looking for some fun new channels to watch. Before I go any further, there's going to be a lot of background noise. I'm filming this on the 4th of July, and as such, there's a lot of fireworks going on outside. Now, without any further delay, let's go ahead and get into the video. I'm going to have timestamps for you in the video in case you're interested in any specific section. We're going to start by looking at the brushes one by one, and I'm going to show you close-ups as well as tell you the individual prices. And I'll also demonstrate the brushes by showing you how I do my complexion routine using only cream products and these 5 brushes. The largest brush in the collection is the Jumbo Base. This one does have a pinched ferrule, and the individual retail price for this brush would be $68. I have found that my preference for this brush is to use it with my foundation, but also because of the pinched ferrule, I can also use it for cream contouring, as I find it hugs the hollows of my cheeks really well. The next brush in the collection is the Classic Base, and this one is completely rounded. All of the brushes in the collection are going to be of the same bristle format. It's a combination of goat hair and 2 different types of synthetics. They were specifically designed to be used with creams and liquid products. However, they can also be used with powder products. I personally like to use this brush for cream bronzer. Next on the line, this brush should look familiar if you picked up her holiday brush set. This one is the mini base brush, and it retails for $40. Now, because this one is a smaller size, I personally can use it for cream contour when I want a detailed product application, but I also use it for blush, and that's how I'm going to be using it in today's demo. Like I said, this brush is the same as she included in her mini brushes that she released during holiday. The next brush is going to be the second brush in the collection that has the pinched ferrule, and this one is the Jumbo Concealer. I personally like to use this brush for under eye concealer, and I also like to use it for an all-over application of cream eyeshadow. Lastly, the final and smallest brush in the collection also has a round ferrule. It retails for $32, and this one is called the Soft Concealer Brush. I like to use this one for nose contour, also cream eyeshadow, and I can also apply concealer with this brush. It's really easy to get into the inner corner of my eyes as the brush is so small. As I mentioned, I purchased my brushes from Beautylish. I purchased them for $225. The way Beautylish does their sets, it's just ease of purchase. There's really no savings when you bundle all the brushes together. I have all of Sonia G's brushes, and I knew I was going to add these to my collection, especially because I love using cream and liquid products, as does everyone right now. It's all the craze. So these brushes came in perfect timing. As I mentioned, all of the brushes have the same brush fiber, so they're going to be natural goat hair and a blend of 2 different synthetic fibers in all the brushes. It's what makes them so great for manipulating cream and liquid products. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how I use the different brushes in creating this type of complexion. Also, if you're interested in my eye makeup, which I won't be going through in the demo, it's using the brand new Lethal Cosmetics and Teresa Is Dead collaboration palette. This one is the Lethal Is Dead palette, and I'll have that linked in the iCards up above if you're interested in checking out the eye look. Now let's go ahead and see how I create my complexion. Here's my beautiful set of Sonia G Fusion brushes, and they consist of 5 brushes. There are 2 that have pinched ferrules. They are going to be the Jumbo Concealer as well as the Jumbo Base. And then the other 3 are kind of, you know, the daddy, the mommy, and the baby. They're similar shapes. They're called the Classic Base, the Mini Base, and the Soft Concealer. So I'm going to show you how I use the brushes. You know, I always try to do something a little bit differently when I know I can't get my videos out as early as other people, but you know, I bought my brushes myself. I waited for them to ship, and then I wanted to try to use them a little bit to give you my thoughts on the brushes. So I figured I would show you how I do my all cream complexion routine and feature the brushes. I'm going to start by priming, and I'm using the Mercier Pure Canvas Primer. toner. This is the hydrating version. I don't have anything else on my face aside from the skincare I applied many hours ago. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this with my hands. If you like the eye look that is in progress, I'm using the brand new Lethal Cosmetics Teresa is Dead collaboration palette, and that video will probably be up first, so I will link it up in the cards if you are curious. But I'm one that likes to do my eye makeup first to avoid fallout messes, and so I have that kind of in progress right now. For my foundation, I'm going to be combining the brand new MAC Studio Radiance Face and Body Foundation. I use this in a recent Get Ready With Me, and I'm gonna mix it with the Auric Glow Lust. Mine is in the shade Selenite. So here I have my concoction. I've used the concoction before, and I found that it gives a similar finish to the Huda Beauty Glowish skin tint, which I also reviewed on my channel. I'm using the jumbo base to apply it, and if you notice, I'm kind of spreading the application throughout, and I'm just going to use slight buffing motions to spread the foundation out throughout my skin. The nice thing I noticed about having these brushes designed specifically for use with cream and liquid products is that they do not absorb the product. So the bristles have enough density that it almost prevents them from absorbing the product, which seems counterintuitive, but somehow that's how it's working. You can see that as I move the brush, like it actually moves the product around. You see, it can actually spread it rather than absorbing the product, which is something that I really enjoy because I don't like using heavy layers of foundation, and also I don't like wasting product. So it's a nice way to make a small amount go a long way. And it's not to say that you can't build it up if you want to. It's just not my preferred way of applying foundation. So you can see I only used about half of what I had on my dish. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the rest of it. You can see it's here on my brush, and I'm going to apply it in the areas where I prefer to have a little bit more coverage. So usually I focus that on my cheeks where I have hyperpigmentation and around my nose area. And you can see that if I use pressing motions, I can keep the product right in the place where I put it. And if I use more swiping motions, that's when I can move it around and spread the product. Another nice thing that I noticed about the brushes is that even though you're using cream products, they're not going to kind of harden. The bristles don't harden unless, I mean, you completely soak it in foundation, and then of course it would. But since I'm applying small amounts, I can actually just brush this on a towel and it'll release enough product that I feel comfortable using it again for another application. From here, I'm going to use the classic base to apply kind of a bronzer. I'm using the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick. This is another product that I used in a recent Get Ready With Me, and with this you have options. With products in stick format, sometimes I will take the brush and pick up the product directly from the stick, or I will paint it on my face and then blend it out using the brush. Today I'm just going to paint it on my face lightly. I'm familiar with the product, so I kind of know how much to apply. And it also blends out easily even if you let it sit on your skin for a while. So for this one, I'm going to use more patting motions. You're going to see how nicely it blends out. My goal here is a soft sculpt like the product claims, and so I kind of want to put it in the place where I would normally contour and a little bit higher as well. On my chin area, I'm going to use buffing motions since I kind of want that to spread. Same over here. The brushes are really, really soft. Here I'm using dabbing motions again to kind of keep the contour product or the bronzer right where I placed it. And near my hairline, I'm using buffing motions. Again, you can see that the brush has barely absorbed any product. All of the product is on my face, and I just love that because I know that I'm not going to go through my products very quickly. And I also know that I can reuse the brush again tomorrow when I do my makeup again. I'm going to continue with the same product to give myself a bit of a nose contour and then also my lower lip, but it's too thick for that. So I actually like to go in with the brush, and I'm just going to swipe across. And nothing too precise. I just like to run it along the sides of my nose and I like to blend it into where my eye socket begins, to kind of try to create a little bit of a shadow there. And for this process, I'm using the soft concealer brush. This is also really nice to apply cream eyeshadow, to apply concealer underneath the eyes. It's a really versatile brush. So here I'm just going underneath my bottom lip to give me a pouty look. Again, like I said, nothing too precise. 2 more brushes to go. I'm going to use one for concealer and the other one for blush. For concealer, I'm going to go in with this Fenty Beauty. It's the Bright Fix Eye Brightener. I have mine in the shade Crepe number 4, and I've been really impressed with this. It's another thing that I used in that Get Ready With Me video. The only thing that I do not like is that it is very difficult to control how much product actually comes out, and you need a lot less than you might think. So you can see here I have just a tiny dab on my dish, and I'm going to use the Jumbo Concealer to apply it. And I'm going to actually pick it up with the brush, and I'm going to place it in the areas that I need the most brightening. I'm going to apply it on both sides before I start blending. And you can see I still have product on my dish. It really takes minimal product to do this. So here again, you can see I used slight swiping motions to move the product around, and then dabbing motions to press it into the skin. Over here, it's a little bit higher than I wanted, so I'm just going to go in with the foundation brush and clean that up a bit. And you can see how much that brightened my under eye. Now, one of the things I noticed about this eye brightener is that it's almost self-setting, where it's a little bit matte. You can see that area is very blurred. It's because of the matte finish that the product has, and I don't feel that I have to set it if I don't want to. I usually prefer to set my under eye. I'm going to set this one especially because my under eyes are looking a lot brighter compared to the rest of my face. Usually that happens whenever I apply bronzer first and then I go in with concealer. I get the feeling like that my concealer is too bright, but you can also apply a little to the center of your forehead to kind of balance that out. I also like to go around my nose. And this Jumbo Concealer brush, even though it's called Jumbo, it's not too big, and I'm able to get into the inner corner of my eye as well. And it's so soft that even if I use buffing motions, like you can see, it doesn't move my skin around. And if I pat, again, it's really gentle on that sensitive under eye area. I like it so much. I still have a little bit of the product, so I'm going to apply a little bit in the center of my forehead just to kind of balance the brightness. Now, honest to goodness, you can leave it just like this. You really do not have to powder this. I'm going to go ahead and powder it though. Like I said, I like to set my concealer. Usually I like to set it with the Pat McGrath under eye setting powder or the Charlotte Tilbury, what's it called? The Flawless Filter, you know, the famous powder. But I'm going to go ahead and use this palette by Jaclyn Hill, and I'm going to go ahead and use one of my new Wayne Goss brushes. This one is the number 3. I did go ahead and provide a review on these brushes as well. I'm going to use this shade down here. It's the shade I've been using the most actually, and I like this powder. You can see I'm just going to just carefully go over my under eye. The pointed shape allows me to get really close to the lower lash line. I also use these brushes for cream since they are undyed goat hair, but these are far less dense, and so the application is going to be different. For my blush, I'm going to use the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Enlivening Blush, and this one is in the shade Pink Poetry. I'm using this shade a lot more than I initially thought I would. I also did a video on her new products, which I'll link in the cards for you if you'd like to check it out. One thing I'm noticing with the blushes is that after you use it for quite some time, it doesn't harden, but it gets kind of caught up there in the nozzle, and it's a little bit harder to dispense, which is a good and bad thing. It's a good thing because you don't need a lot of these products. Like you can see, I put a tiny bit on my dish, and that's going to be enough for both of my cheeks. And I'll be using the mini base to blend that out. You can see I'm applying it to my cheeks. Some of these areas may have a little bit of powder, but it's not something I'm concerned about, as I've worked with the brushes over powder as well, and they work beautifully. So you can see again, I'm using patting motions and it's diffusing the color so nicely. That looks so pretty. I'm just gonna go in and grab just a dab of what I had left and kind of deepen it on the apples. Now I've already demoed all the brushes, but I'm going to go ahead and reuse the soft concealer. If you remember, I used this one for nose contour. I was using it with a bronzer. I just wiped it on the back of a towel, and I'm going to take a little bit more of the Glow Lust. I have just a tiny amount right there on my palette, and I'm going to apply highlighter just to the high points of my face. And that was my full cream complexion routine using just these 5 brushes, with the exception of the under eye powder brush. But like I said, you could have really skipped that step. And yeah, I really love the way my complexion is looking. I'm gonna go ahead, finish off the rest of my makeup, and be back to share my final thoughts. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I created my complexion using just these 5 brushes. Yes, I know I cheated a little bit by setting my under eye concealer, but I had a lot of filming planned to do today, and so I wanted to make sure that my makeup was going to last and my concealer wasn't going to set too much. And for that, I used, like I mentioned, one of the Wayne Goss brushes. This is from his newest set. I believe this set is still available, and I did do a review on this, which will be linked in the cards for you as well. Now, with regard to my thoughts on these brushes, they are stunning. They are so fantastic. At this point, I've washed the brushes and I didn't have to use brush shapers with Sonia G's brushes. I really don't have to do that. They retain their shape beautifully. They wash beautifully. I just use Beauty Blender Solid to wash my brushes, and they're just gorgeous. As I mentioned during the demo, one of the main things that I love is that they do not absorb the product. So all of the product is really applied to my face or moved about on my face where I want it. Even right now, after having used all of the brushes with multiple products, they feel completely dry. They're still soft and supple, and I would definitely feel comfortable using them again. You literally can just take a microfiber towel, like the one Sonia G sells, or any microfiber towel, and just rub the brushes on the towel gently. It will release any product that is there, and the brushes are ready to use once again. You really only have to wash them occasionally, like a deep wash when necessary. I have used the brushes multiple times through multiple applications without washing in between, and they function beautifully. Like you notice in the application today, I used this brush for concealer and also highlight, and I had no problem with the products intermingling with one another. They're just great. I focused my demo on using liquid and cream products because it's one of the special functions of this brush set, but you can also use them with powders. So if you do like powder applications, you can definitely use these brushes. They're a little more dense when considering powder applications, and so then you would just adjust your pressure to get the desired color intensity that you would like. Like all of Sonia G's brushes, they are absolute perfection. They are sold out right now, but she's very good at getting restocks as soon as she can while protecting the integrity of the manufacturing process. These are all handmade brushes, and so it's not an immediate manufacture, but they're definitely worth the wait. And if you like what you saw today, then I would definitely keep them on your wish list and keep a lookout on Beautylish website for a restock. Also follow her on Instagram. She gives a lot of information about upcoming restocks and even upcoming launches. I would also highly encourage that you check out her blog. She gives so much information about each individual brush to give you the best idea of which one would best suit your specific purpose if you're looking to pick and choose among the set. If you want, in my opinion, they are all absolutely divine. I'm absolutely thrilled with them. A++++++. That's going to be everything for today's video. I hope you did enjoy it and found it helpful, and if you did, please don't forget that big thumbs up for me. It really helps me and my channel, and it also encourages me to keep bringing you content like this. If you have any questions on anything I didn't address during the video, please leave those in the comment section and down below. I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your day with me. I really appreciate it. Hope you're doing really, really well, and I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon on my next one. Bye-bye.